Welcome back to Watching Film and Varnadore Films. I'm Seth Varnadore. I'm a former high school and college football coach. Now I break down film here on YouTube with a particular emphasis on the Florida Gators through my work with Alligator Army. So, through the end of the season here, now it's kind of time to reflect and look back on the season. One common refrain I've heard when reading about or hearing about people speak about the offense is that Billy Napier does a great job designing the run game, but the passing game is poorly designed. I've heard that particular, the passing game needs a ton of work, or they don't know how to put together a passing game. They don't know how to design a passing game. I thought I thought that was a bit out of place for me personally. Going back and thinking through the season, I saw concepts, that were run by Bill Walsh. I saw concepts that were run by Sean Payton and the Saints. I saw concepts run by Hal Mummy and Mike Leach. I saw concepts run even by Steve Spurrier. So I wanted to kind of go back and look back through some of the passing game stuff from the season and kind of show you where some of these influences are coming from and where the design of some of these plays maybe originated and where you can see them now. Because I don't think it's poorly designed. I think at times it's poorly executed. But let's go back through the passing game. It's not going to be every pass, but I tried to get a lot of the major concepts that I saw a lot, and then maybe places you might have seen them before, and just kind of show you that it's not really a design issue. If they're poorly designed, then there's a lot of really good passing attacks that are poorly designed. So let's go through. We'll start working with some boot. Boot was obviously a big part of the offense. Here I've got boot flood. I don't have every single boot to where, your typical boot, like first day of install, is like this guy on a deep comeback, this guy in the flat, this guy on a post, and this guy on a deep over, right? Don't have one of those, just a generic boot in here. We've got kind of a boot flood look here. They love flood routes, so I thought it'd be a good one to start with. So you're going to get vertical, deep out, and I believe he's coming across in the flat. So a little 3 levels, right? 3 levels, high, low. Boot and flood, right? Boot, you're trying to obviously move the pocket, but you're typically high-lowing. You can go from high to low in a third of the field. Flood, you're really flooding a third of the field with bodies. So you can go, you've got a deep, intermediate, and a short option, right? So there's Pearsall wide open on the intermediate option there. So that's kind of a boot with the flood. They love the flood. They love the crossers. We'll see that coming up here. Here's boot against Florida State, almost more like a smash look where he's going to motion in, which, right, the motion, and that's the other part of the offense that, when people say poorly designed, motion is a big part of the design. And look what it gives you. It gets you leverage here. These two guys, you'll see, aren't sure who's who and how to communicate this, so they bust. But he's going to come across the flat. Now it's a little bit of a smash look where you got a guy deep on a corner route, a guy in the flat. You'll see this run a bunch of different ways. And then I believe you got the crosser coming across, right? But more of like a smash type look here out of this boot. And let's see who else is running a smash boot. Well, this one looks pretty similar here. So here's the Kansas City Chiefs running kind of a similar look under center. So he's got the corner, no motion here. And then you got coming across for the flat. That is Kadarius Toney right here catching the flat. So that's from this season. But kind of the same idea. Pretty much the same design. And here's kind of the other angle of Florida running it. So, right, we just saw Kansas City run it. This guy's got a corner. Number 2's coming across in the flat. He's coming across. He blocks for Kansas City, but he kind of blocks and comes out late for Florida here. So there you go. pretty much the same exact design the Kansas City Chiefs are running. A nice little wrinkle off the boot. You run enough boot where people think you're going to run the outside guy run a comeback, right? Well, then you go out and up off of it. Nice little change up here for Florida. Off the boot look, make it look similar. Out and up, get your guy open. Another look, right? We just talked about smash, right? So smash concept. The typical smash is you have an outside receiver. He's in the flat. A lot of times they'll run a hitch and he runs a corner. You just high low. Florida gets to it a different way here. Motion. So watch what this motion does with the design here. Motion. Now he becomes number one receiver, so he's covering number one. So now he kicks out, and he's going to run to the flat, right? We just saw Florida run, or we've seen Florida previous games run smash, right? So he's going to run like he's running to the corner, I believe, and then get vertical. So right here, sell the corner out, then get vertical. That's how you get that open, right? And where's the corner? He's on number one here, and now he's motioning across, and now he has leverage. So when he makes that break to the corner, this guy's probably going to try to undercut that really hard because he's got to get leverage back, and then I get vertical. And it's game over. So again, nice design off of kind of a look you'd shown before. So here's kind of a different look at it, another way to get to it. Same idea, though. Instead, this time, throw like I'm running the screen out here, and now he's the corner. He's the flat. And then you have the crosser there. But for the quarterback, it's all the same reads here, right? Besides kind of the out and up switch ups, but it's all the same read. I can high low and smash. Then I got the crosser. So a lot of different window dressing for the defense. For the quarterback, really easy stuff. Here's kind of a similar look. And it looks like here they're running drive behind this. So kind of a smash. Now they roll with this. You could drop straight back and run this as well. But it looks like it may be running a drive concept. Drive is a Bill Walsh concept. So West Coast passing, still you'll see it all across modern football, the drive route. Combined with this tight smash here, this kind of condensed corner. You've seen that quite a bit. Now they roll it with kind of a boot action, so it looks kind of like boot, but the concept is kind of the same. And where else have you seen a similar concept? LSU 2019, Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, that whole crew. Here is smash. And there's drive. So, right there, drive, smash. Florida used a tight end. There was a wing here to come across. LSU's using the back. The idea is the same. Florida wanted the play action with it. LSU could drop straight back. They were really good at empty protection, and Burrow, we obviously know, is a stud. Pretty much same look here. The back helps chip. He's in the flat, corner, dig route, drive. So kind of pretty much the same concept you saw against Utah there. Here's Florida just running drive again against Vanderbilt. He runs the go, kind of the wide go, shallow, dig. You could high-low this in here. It's 3rd and 10. Once this guy takes the shallow, you could probably work all this space to the dig route right here. That's kind of what the read is typically. You decide to go up top there and miss the throw. Well, there's drive. Here's the drive concept. Again, invented. Now, I don't know if it was invented by Bill Walsh, but popularized by Bill Walsh in the West Coast offense. Still used in offenses all across America. Also, another part of the offense that is not talked about a ton when talking about design. So they got drive down here. We just talked about drive's a great concept. You got to go route up top, but what gives you a ton of room? You run formation into the boundary. So you put 3 receivers down here. The defense has to rotate to this side. And now you get a one-on-one up here with a ton of room. And then you can see the drive concept in there. You probably could have had the dig. You make a nice throw to the go route, but the concept inside, let's look at it one more time. You see as he comes here, the space is opening up in here for the dig route on 4th and 8 for an easy first down conversion. You get a more difficult first down conversion, but great throw, great catch. Here's kind of, so Florida ran this against Georgia. Ran this a couple other times where it's kind of the same idea as drive. One of the big things in drive is kind of that cross happening. That's not one of the, it's a nice little wrinkle on drive, but the idea is kind of the same. You got a shallow here trying to get eyes to jump it there and have a dig come back behind it. Right. It's kind of a similar idea here. So you run the motion to give you an idea of what the coverage might be. I think Richardson ends up throwing a shallow here, but he might have been able, I think he had the dig back behind it, right? Because you're using the shallow. Right. They're rolling to like a 2 Tampa type look. So there's the shallow. Right there's put it on the dig. Now he's kind of sitting there, maybe trying to bait it, but I think right here he could probably fit that thing in. If he leaves it in here, it's going to get picked, right? So that's maybe why he decides to go to the shallow instead. But running like a 2 Tampa, there's a guy sitting there on the flat route. Here's another look at it against Florida State. 3rd and 5. Takes the shallow. Well, what's going to be behind that, right? Shallow. There's the dig coming behind into the space. Watch how the space opens up here. There you go. That's a lot of room. All right, so another thing off boot that I thought was a nice little wrinkle. So Florida will run this quick game where it's snag, and you got one to the corner and one to the flat. All right, let's see how this plays out here. Yeah, okay. Snag, common concept. I think it's also known as Y corner in air raid circles. If I'm not, I may be incorrect there, but I think that's right. But this is a common quick game concept. You see this everywhere. You see a ton of teams running it. Ohio State's running this. You see it all over the NFL. This is a common concept. Florida runs it with the boot wrinkle. Easy pitch and catch to the flat. Here is it. Now, if you look up top, that's what they're running up top here. Richardson decides to go with the numbers, or he thinks he has the numbers to the bottom. But they're going to basically be here, corner, flat. And you'll see up top, if you work up top, he's got eyes there. He's got eyes there. There's nobody covering the tight end up top. So if you work up top, probably a walk-in touchdown. Work to the bottom. Not a perfect throw, incomplete pass. So, and then off the snag, what's a nice little wrinkle? You go snag and go. So, right, make it look just like the snag route here. Let's start over here. All right, so snag, we said snag is this, right? Sit, corner, after motion, he's the flat guy. So sometimes in the red zone, you snag. All right, so let's see it right here. Snag, get this guy to kind of sit and then go into that space right there. Pretty good job covering it. You get a shot to the corner. Probably need to be a little quicker on the go there. Also get held a little bit. But that's the idea there. Snag and go. Here's another look at it down here. snag, go. A little bit different. This is almost instead of kind of running to the flat, he runs like a hitch out here. So this is really almost like smash. He's going to hitch underneath here, and then he's got a chance to go here. I think if Richardson puts it on him right there, you got a chance, but you also got a one-on-one to the corner. A little bit better ball, you probably have a chance to touchdown. And so this was an interesting wrinkle, I thought, here. You start to get snag shallow. Or it's basically, right, we talked about, we've gone over the snag route, right? We got a corner route that gets to about here. We got a flat route that should get to about here. Then we got a snag route that should get to about right here. So a lot of times that's attacked this way. Snag to here. Somebody's running a flat to there, and then you have a corner to there, right? We're hitting all the landmarks. That's snag. Well, the same landmarks, we're going to hit them a different way. I'm going to run a hitch. I'm going to run a corner, so it looks like smash. And now I'm bringing him the backside slot across to where the snag would be. So for the quarterback, it's kind of a similar look in terms of landmarks, right? This is the same landmark as the flat. If the guy was running out of the backfield to the flat, if he was in the slot to the flat, this is the corner out. It's a corner out. This is the same landmark that the snag would get to, whether he's coming from this side or he's running the shallow across that way. And so you have a chance to kind of hit against the man coverage there. Take a shot in the one-on-one up down here at the bottom. Good throw, good catch, you win. But there was the concept inside as well. Come back to it, pretty much the same idea here. Snag shallow. And again here, right, you see you see the blitz. Well, here's your perfect blitz leader is the shallow, right? You got to throw this one a little early, trying to beat the blitz. So the timing's pretty good, I think, on the throws. Just maybe throw this one instead. If you hit the shallow, he's probably still running. And then they go to snag again, and then at the bottom of the screen, you'll see a slant route by the slot. So again, you're kind of getting a bunch of different ways to get to it, but for the quarterback, the read is similar. In theory, this should make it easier on the quarterback, right? To get to my snag. And this is something you see all over the NFL. You see it everywhere. You see it from air raid teams. You see it kind of all over the place. Here's kind of another look at it, a different wrinkle with it. So it's a little bit like snag, but then you also have kind of an extra hook, it looks like. I'm not sure if somebody busted here or if this is almost like you're almost getting like you got a hook over here, not quite getting to the ball. I don't know if he's supposed to get to the ball, where it's almost a little bit like Hank, which is a curl flat, but pretty similar idea, I think, to me, to a snag, a corner out, and the flat route here. So kind of a similar idea as well, with a kind of an extra little sit in front of it. Here's a play action concept, right? Another play action concept. Call this one zebra. That's you'll see where that language is from here in a second. So this is a deep crosser. Zebra is kind of a deep a dig route, but the idea is the same. I'm trying to occupy eyes with the underneath and hit over the top. So right here, they do it with a deep crosser. There's other names for it. You'll see why I called it zebra, because it's pretty similar to a concept that I think is going to be pretty famous among Florida fans here. Hey, look at this. So let's go back real quick. Florida's in double tight right here. Double tight. 1, 2 tight ends, 1 back, 2 receivers. All right, let's go back in time here. I think you're kind of in a similar look here. There's the dig route. I believe there's a dig route, and then you're gonna have a corner, or rather a post route over the top. So I think this is zebra as well, and I think a lot of Gators remember that one. So if I recall, this guy was pretty good at designing passing plays. And now here's kind of another similar look at it. This one's even got the dig on it. So, right, Florida. Right, we said the last one we just watched, he had a deep dig route, then a deep post over the top. Well, what do you know? You got a deep dig route and a deep post over the top. Same design. Tried and true, I think, especially if you're going to run the ball as well as Florida does. Now you got the double curl here, two-man curl with the motion. You see the Chiefs running that. I thought, to me, that was somewhat reminiscent of Florida with this look. Running the two-man curl game right there. Again, with the motion man flaring out to the flat. So, again, let's watch that one more time. Motion man to the flat. Two curls. Looks like one's probably over the ball. They throw it to the flat. Here, Richardson does a nice job fitting this thing on the curl. But not too dissimilar here in terms of structure. Here it is again. You got the guy going to the flat, and you got the two curls. Motion man to the flat. Two curls. I also think that they make it look a little bit like their Y cross series. It seems like to me. Right here, it looks like he's going to be running that deep crossing route, which they like to run a ton, and then he breaks it down. So I don't know if this is kind of they like this off that kind of look after running that a few times. Here's a nice quick game concept you see everywhere: a stick concept. You're going to get that, and that stick all over the place. Johnny Manziel, his Heisman year, made a living off of basically this look. They would run stick out of empty, and then if they covered it, this was kind of one of the initial RPOs that are really famous RPOs. They run the stick concept. If the linebacker covers out here, Johnny Manziel would run. So you see a lot of that. They'd get empty stick, RPO. So really common concept, really good concept. It's at every level of football because it works. But what else can you do? So we just saw stick was right. You had stick as this guy on the go, this guy in the flat, this guy kind of stick, and then he could go out, right? Again, it's about landmarks. So I need somebody to get here. I need somebody to be here. I need somebody to be here. So what do some teams do? They'll switch these two guys, and he'll run a slot fade, and then he's still the stick guy. For maybe he curls up, maybe he goes out, right? So he's still kind of the stick guy there, but they go slot fade with it. So right here, the New Orleans Saints. This is a couple of years ago, I would imagine. You got Drew Brees back there, so this is a Sean Payton special. So stick, slot, fade. Here's Florida running. I believe they're running stick, slot, fade as well. And then they have the dig attached backside. Right? Why do they do that? Well, this guy pushes to the stick route. So you probably have eyes on him. If he pushes to the stick route, that should open a nice window there. If he doesn't push to the stick route, I should be able to hit the stick. So right here, He's kind of looks like he's playing down here. Richardson's already got his eyes back here, waiting for that thing to turn open. Just misses the throw there. If he puts it on him, you got a pretty good play. Hey, here's Alabama. Same stadium, running stick, slot fade, working something to the backside here. Oh, look at that. Dig backside, stick. Let's see. The backer works to the stick. That opens up a hole right here. Bryce Young's able to put it on the receiver before the safety gets there. I don't know if I pulled a clip for this one, but we've all seen this one. The two-man deep curl off play action. Florida's hit that a few times with Pearsall. This is one I think everyone's probably intimately familiar with after this season. It seemed to be something they were able to get to about once a game. But there it is from the Rams. All right, so here's another look at Flood. Doing it from kind of bringing – this could almost be kind of a Y cross look. So a lot of their – what's interesting, a lot of these crossing routes after the motion he's in the flat end up – they're flooding, but also Y cross, which is a big air raid play, is also kind of turns into a flood route here. Where you get three guys in the same third, they drop off, drop it down here. Here's a look at Flood out of a different look for the New York Jets. I believe this might be last year. I'm not sure. This may be this year. You got a go. I think it's here. You got a go. He's going to work up and be the out, and then you got the flat route guy. But the idea is the same. Vertical, intermediate. So deep, intermediate. Oh, look at that. Deep, intermediate, short. Here's an interesting wrinkle off so they make it look like Flood a ton, but Florida also broke this wrinkle out where they go to the corner, almost make it look like they're running the deep crossers. I think it's a nice little change up. I think it's a little bit of a change up off some of the Y cross stuff too, because they would go where the stems are pretty similar. He's running the deep crosser. He runs the dig behind it, right? They do that in Y cross. We'll see more Y cross later. So what's the change up? He's here, but he comes back to the intermediate. He's here. He's the deep. So it's still Flood. We're still doing 3 1/3 of the field here, kind of stacking them up. But there it is to the corner. Who else has done this? Oh. Pretty similar look here, really. They don't have him come quite as deep. He's more of a straight to the out here, but he is coming back to the corner there. Motion guy in the flat. What's that Mahomes seeing? All right, so then another change up off the Flood. You run enough flood. You can go to the post. You didn't protect it here, but watch what you get. You can really see it from the backside. Right, I've run enough Flood. I'm occupying eyes here. I occupy the safety's eyes. Do you see where the safety's going? He's like, I've seen this flood route all day. I know he's breaking out. Let me jump on top of that. Thank you very much. Because if you protect it, where's your safety? Oh, here he is. Thank you. Should have been a touchdown there. You don't protect it. But design-wise, it's great. Here's LSU kind of looking to a similar look with the post over the top. I think you might see this one again because it does look similar. I like this look too against Vanderbilt. You go to the post, but you also make it look like. And again, we'll get to the Y cross. Florida likes to run a Y cross look like this, and they run it a lot. And then that got to be a dig. So it looks like that. And now, instead of breaking it here, I'm breaking it to the post. I'm in. Instead of keeping coming across, I'm whipping out. Same thing. Instead of keep going across, I'm whipping out, but it's still flood. And if you like, I think you like that shot at the top, that's okay. You probably have some room on the intermediate here as well. Take a shot. This one, go up and get it with your hands. Don't let it get to your body. I'm all right with that decision. There's the safety. You're kind of looking. He freezes. He's trying to get back over the middle there. The ball beats him. Go up and get that thing. Go up and high point that thing, strong hands. Good job by the DB playing through their hands. So get knocking that thing out. But another little variation. Here's another one. You're going to see another whip on this one. Flood with the whip route. And right, you got the safety sitting here. So instead of him running that, him running the intermediate, and him running short, like you see a lot with flood, well, let's change it up. Whip, also hold his eyes with this. Hold his eyes. And now I'm the short. Well, now he's the deep guy, and he'll be the intermediate guy. Watch the deep guy. Ooh, that's the safety. So that's the safety that's got to be a deep defender here. Here's the next closest guy to kind of getting in on this play. And you have to pull this thing down and throw it away here when you could have, that thing could have been a house call maybe. At least a big play. All right, here's a nice little concept. I remember the first time I saw this, I thought this was an unbelievable design. This was one of my favorites. Now you see it. It's a little more prevalent now, but this was one of the first times I remember seeing it. And it's like a scissors route. Scissors is like one guy's got a post, the other guy's got a corner. It's like scissors and then also kind of like smash, but with the running back as the corner guy. So this is the Joe Brady, Joe Burrow, really awesome 2019 LSU team, right? So really cool design right there. Florida, I thought they could have thrown to their backs more, but they come to this against Georgia here. Same design. They end up having to drop it there, but you'll see from the back view, I think this throw gets kind of rushed. If you're able to hold it, all right, he's got eyes there. He's about to break out here. Watch the back there. Look at all the room you have to throw that thing to if you could have got a little bit more time there. And here's a kind of a wider view of it. Just an awesome call. Burrow is able to kind of, even with it kind of the pressure kind of heating him up, he's able to sit in there and kind of make the throw. Now it's a little bit more condensed space too. I think Florida ran it to the field. They're running it to the boundary. So it happened a little quicker. But still, you could see the idea was there. Here's Hank, another common curl flat concept, West Coast. You see it all over the place. So this is not like something that is just a high school play or anything like curl flat is at every level. And it's done by some of the best. So here's the Bucks running it. I believe this is their Super Bowl year. I'm not positive. So they're running Hank. Right. It's just curl flat, guy curling up over the ball. So curl over the ball, flat, curl. I think he just flat, he curls there. So 2 curls, 2 guys in the flat. And they do it. They kind of spray the inside guys release here, but same idea. It's Hank. The Bucks running Hank. Florida running Hank. It's the same play. Here's a little high-low play they ran. I don't recall them run this a ton, but it's a great little goal line play. I think the tight end here drifts a little too much, but all you're trying to do is high-low this. If they drive on that little hitch at the goal line, you throw it to the back of the end zone. If they don't drive on the hitch, drive the ball into the tight end there. So right here, Bang. I think he's a little deep. He probably wants to sit right here. And this is one where maybe the the paint of the end zone is a little confusing in real time. You sit at the front of the goal line there, that gives this behind it a lot more room. You see how these two came up. If it was here, maybe you have some room to fit this thing in the back of the end zone. You know who used to love that play? Excuse me for the video quality here. I believe this is some of these are from In All Kinds of Weather as all these games uploaded. You see the hitch here at the goal line, right at the goal line, not drifting too much. Then to the back of the end zone, Chris Doring. They ran this a few times against Georgia. This is when they put up half 100 between the hedges. Same idea here. You see the shorter hitch, and then the deeper, kind of almost like a deeper slant or a mini post behind it. Then here you can kind of see it from the back. The hole. He's up on the hitch. There's a hole right back here to fit that thing into for the touchdown there. Mesh. Air raid staple. What Mike Leach used to shred LSU in his first game in the SEC in 2020, I believe. Right, you got the two mesh, big thing, right? You got the two crossers over the ball. Then you can do kind of what you want with some teams. Will they'll have. I think initially this was kind of both guys running flares because Kentucky was a ton of two back when Leach was there. So you got the two crossers, put it on them right there. Looks like Florida had one of the backs on a wheel route. ETN looked to be kind of on the wheel. And then, right, you see here as this widens for the crossers, that opens up the curl behind it. Mesh, you see it all over the place. Here's the Chiefs running it. You see the tight ends coming to get over the ball there. So there's the crossers. He's coming to get over the ball. The ball gets out quick, gets vertical. Here's the back view of it so you can kind of see it. Cross. If it's zone, you can just kind of sit right there. He sits, puts it on him, get vertical. Here it is again. Different look. Who's the crossers? Here's Ohio State running it. Again, if you're going to get man coverage and you got some dudes, it's going to be a problem. I think this is the game. This might be the game where Ohio State just rolled up yards because Michigan wanted to play a lot of man coverage. Here's another look at Florida running it. They ran it quite a bit this year with varying degrees of success, but I believe this is a play that they asked Richardson, what do you want to run on this fourth down? And he asked for mesh. So he was pretty comfortable with it. This is one where, there it is. I think he can probably fit it over the ball here if he wants, but he takes off and makes a play with his legs. And that's never a bad idea for that guy. Here's another look at it. Here's mesh. Drops it down. I think a little bit better ball. Let him run after catch. Has to slow up a little bit. But you see, it's, mesh is sometimes, especially if it's main coverage, it's more about who you got running it than what you're running. Here's from the back view, so you can kind of see, not too dissimilar to the one we watched for the Chiefs. There's the mesh happening, the guy over the ball. Again, this one's kind of where you're forced to pull it down a little bit earlier than you like to, because I think you get shorter coming across here with a little separation. Right there. If he doesn't have to pull his eyes down, you can put it on him, let him run for it. But you got to pull it down. Here's a great one. This is one. So they ran it against Kentucky. I think maybe even Utah, and it didn't look great. I thought this was an awesome one against Tennessee. You get over the ball here. So there they open up. You get the curl over the ball. The curl over the ball part, I think, was made popular by Chip Kelly. He really liked putting that spin with it. Here's the mesh again. Drop it off to one of the shallows right there. Pick up a first down. Here it is again on 3rd and 3. Again, sometimes it's more about who you got running it. Now, you also saw that some of those meshes were pretty tight. This one's super loose looking. And that's obviously, you don't get the rub that way. You're trying to get that natural rub. Now, here's an awesome wrinkle that you're like, man, if Florida was really well designed, I wish they had this wrinkle in on the goal line. Mesh and get in the back, starting him from the opposite side, right? Run mesh on the inside. That would be a great wrinkle. Oh, would you look at that? They've got it in. Just got to catch it. All right, so then we just got like here a shallow cross. They didn't run this a ton. I don't remember seeing a lot of it. Take the throw to the out route if you like the one-on out there. But if not, similar idea to drive where you got a high-low. If they jump on the shallow, you got the deeper dig coming back behind it. This is kind of an all curls, almost like spacing type look here. Oh, let's run it here. This is something that's prevalent. You see like 4-man spacing concepts. You see it a lot out of bunch. It's not too dissimilar to stick either here in this instance. But you don't really got anybody pushing the flat there, or I guess you got him pushing the flat, right? So it's kind of stick, and you got the other curl. So you kind of get a little bit of a best of both worlds here, where I can kind of be running stick with these three, and then I'm also putting another here to kind of give myself an extra underneath guy. And he's kind of a little bit deeper than typical there. So I thought this was kind of a similar look at it. Motion the back out. You end up working the slant down to the bottom. But it looks like you've got kind of a similar idea there. Okay, so this looks like it's a play called Spear. This is something I saw LSU. I saw the Chiefs running it. I saw quite a few teams running it. It was hard to tell without this view, but once I saw kind of some other spots, I'm pretty sure this is what it is. You've got two deep, almost deep posts, or like a deep over and a deep post behind it, and then an over route coming from the opposite side. So right here, all right, too deep, coming across, probably a little more vertical, and then he's coming back across there. I've seen it called Spear. I think I've seen it called Wave. Maybe Dino or Dino as well. Something similar. But here it is again. Kind of deep overs. And then the one coming back, you see here. Getting that thing wide open. I think this is the same idea here. You actually hit the deep over coming back across, but you've got deep over. And the way this guy just kind of runs a hitch just is trying to hold that to get you that deep over, almost like a deep post. And then he's running this thing back across this way, and he's working the flat there. So it's a nice little concept. And then here, let's look at this. Looks pretty similar. You get you get a shot of deep over there with the motion man running to the flat. Similar looking concept. LSU. There's the deep over like the one you hit to shorter against Tennessee. Here it is again. Deep routes, and then you got the deep over. And there's a look at it. Here's Wave. It's hard to read some of these, but Wave. There's look out of the old Alabama, out of an Alabama playbook there. So, it's a good concept. This one, it looks like they're running the same thing, and then he's actually breaking it back out to the corner. So kind of a nice little wrinkle off that same concept here. spear, and then he breaks it back to the corner. So pretty cool change up too. Here, this would appear to me before verts, but really just getting your slot up the seam there. Right here, probably the same thing. You're getting your slot up the seam. I'm not sure if it's 4 verts and if this guy's capped. You know, if this guy hasn't won by a certain yardage, he breaks it all, or if they're just running like curl seam. But same idea. You're trying to get that slot up the seam if you can and win. Here's another look at 4 verts. This was cool off the play action here. He's the third guy coming across there. I like this change up. Right here's another look at it. So you got the back, who typically is the lead blocker on the jet, right? He goes up the seam now. He's typically arcing, right, or getting outside on this jet. He's up the sideline. He kind of engages and comes across. Then you got your go down there, I believe, right? So 4 verts. Kind of pick your poison here with how it works out. Well, that reminded me of a play I saw off the motion. There's the back up the seam right there. So watch the back here, off the motion. Formationally, it's different, but idea-wise, he's coming across. He's up the sideline. Here's your back, up the seam. Same idea Florida just had. All right, so I think this is kind of almost like a verts shallow kind of look where this could be Y cross with a shallow. It's hard to tell exactly, but you basically get deep crosser, shallow coming back underneath. They run a few different things off of it, but it's kind of the same idea here. I'm coming shallow, run the crosser, and you could run it like I've seen teams run like 4 verts, make it look like 4 verts, and then the shallow coming back across. That's a big thing people like to do. There's Ohio State. This is from a couple weeks ago. Scoring. I think everybody's pretty big on Ryan Day. I think he's probably pretty well thought of in terms of designing passing games and things like that. So here's they kind of go with the shallow, and then they also bust the corner off of this. Another interesting look. If this guy's carrying the shallow, you know you're going to have a lot of room over here for the crosser. So they get it. Just can't hook it up. They come back to it, though. Same different look at it. So now the motion gives me a good idea of the cover. If it's man coverage, I like this one coming across. Add in a blitz, even better. Thank you very much. Here's Haas jute. Haas is hitch, seam, and then a juke route. So it's kind of like get over the ball and then get open. You can go this. I think he's got he's got some latitude on what he wants to do. So right here, Jukes gets open right there. This is in the Super Bowl. This is the New England Patriots, coached by Bill Belichick. Pretty good coach. They run this play 3 plays in a row in the Super Bowl. Out of different formations, kind of different looks. Same personnel. This is out of 2 back, 2 tight end personnel. They had some flexibility, though. And what's cool is watch this. First play, they're going to hit, right? Haas. So hitch, seam, juke. First play, hit the juke route. Second play, so juke, check. Second play, hitch route. Hitch, check. What's left? You got the seam route. Here's the seam. Pretty nice throw there. Pretty good tight end there. So that's not super replicable, but Haas juke. It's the same concept. Hit the seam. There you go. Just like Gronk. little bit different with Pierce. So he looks a little different than Gronk, but here's Y cross, kind of a Y cross look on this side. And then you got a smash look down here. I think you got a hitch and you got the corner. Then the Y cross coming across. You can kind of go corner to Y cross, probably is kind of the progression there. And there it is. And then you get South Carolina, similar look. Now you get the corner. Put it on him. There you go. Here's Ohio State running Y cross. All right, so you see it kind of looks similar to a lot of stuff Florida does, right? Flat. I think his rule is probably under the first guy over the next two, and he's got to dig behind it. So that's kind of Y cross, typical Y cross. Again, Ohio State with Ryan Day, pretty well thought of in terms of passing game design. Here's a look from the back. Here's Florida running similar. One thing Florida likes to do with it, which is interesting, is instead of just having the flat guy here and running the flat, they'll bring him from the back side. So you also kind of get a little bit of that where the backers underneath may suck up a little bit, and that might open this crosser a little earlier than typical. Right? Because if we go back and look at this one, who's giving problems to the crosser? This guy is, at least he's kind of making him make a move here. Well, what if he had something coming across there? Would he drive on it and now the throw opens up earlier? I don't know, but that's kind of the idea. He gets shaken out of his shoes anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Well, there it is. It kind of opens up over the middle instead of having to be in the third. Similar look right here. Opens up over the middle of the field. And this is boot, but it's kind of the same idea. That's what a lot of the stuff kind of is hits similar notes. And then that's pretty good right there. Here it is again, just out of different. And you notice a lot of this is out of different formations. But you're kind of hitting the same thing. This is boot, but it's the same idea, right? And that's what's interesting about it, is you, kind of when I roll to it, it's boot. And maybe it's really not Y cross unless I have a dig behind it, but the idea is kind of the same, right? I can still flood that area of the field. There's one here later on where it's perfectly done. I think against Vanderbilt, Richardson gets back to the dig. Here's kind of the deep crosser there. Kind of the same idea here. Here it is, a kind of a more traditional look. And they just have a go route here at the bottom. I wonder if that's converted. Like if the corner's rolled up, I can convert it to a go. I thought watching this live, I thought, okay, they got a speed out called. He's going to try to hit Pierce on the speed out. The gumption to throw the go route there. You got to like the gumption. Good ball. Big play there on fourth down. Here's Chiefs running something similar with the dig late. But the idea, you got the motion guy, deep crosser. He's coming to dig back. Here's LSU. Kind of a similar look, I think, on this one, the way Florida likes to run. Oh, no. This one's you got the post. So they kind of tag the post here. I think Florida did that against Kentucky, maybe. They tagged the post early and just missed this post route early in the game. The same idea. Again, here it is with the dig. You see the dig coming back behind it. Right, deep crosser, dig behind it. Throw the dig right there. Here it is. I think this is a really good one. So and then Florida does a change up here where they run it with a slot fade instead of, the traditional, like we saw the one to Pearsall, where it was go route, speed out. I'm still trying to hit the same spot. So we go show the screen and then slot fade. Maybe you get a play to the fake screen, but it's still Y crosser, then the dig coming behind it. Really good job. This is one of, I thought, Richardson's like best reps of the season right here. Look deep, come find the crosser, in rhythm, find the dig behind it, put it on the money for a nice completion, first down. Same thing, same concept. Another good one. If it's not there, drop it to your back, and look what your back can do when you drop it to them. So 2 great reps back to back on this concept here. Now we're kind of to things that they didn't do a ton, but I still kind of like. They snuck in Pearsall here at like a wing. So that's Pearsall down at the wing. Try to sneak him in. See if you can get him matched up on a safety or a backer. You get him matched up on the safety, I believe. Great play, great throw there, getting across. Here's like a mirrored smash route out of a tight formation. You just high-low the corner here. This one, you just got to put it on him. Here's a little bit of a change up to Y cross. To me, right, he looks like the crosser. He's kind of getting vertical, like maybe he's going to be, or this could be a change up to, that spear type thing where it looks like you got 2 guys coming across this way. Then, right, it looks like you got the crosser coming and maybe you got the dig behind it. And it's actually, he's going to convert it to a corner. He's going to curl up here. And so you get kind of a smash type look here where you're getting to high-low the corner, but you also may get the safety to bite for the crosser because you run so much crosser. Throw the curl, but watch the corner here. All right, you see it kind of looks like crosser. You also get him running down the middle, so you occupy this guy. His eyes are occupied by the curl, and now he started to come to the center, but he breaks back to the corner there. If you drop it in here, it could be a big play right there. Smash down at the bottom. Some kind of like switch curl up top. Try to go to the seam route there. I like this. This one we kind of catch it late, but shorter his run makes it look like a dig route right there. So he's coming in here. Tight end's got a pivot. He's actually going to go dig, get him to drive on it, and then get vertical right now. You see he drives on it. Again, protection issue right here. If he's got time to throw this, that's basically all his. Shorter's, this guy's flat-footed. Shorter's got him beat. If you watch it play out there, that's a touchdown. And that's why Richardson, as he gets out of this, just tries to heave it as much as he can because he knows that thing's wide open. And then I guess that's not interference anymore. All right, little screen and go. This is another great one. You run a little bit of screen off this motion. Make it look right here. You'd say, oh, he's blocking for the screen. Release up. Then you get the targeting call there. Pearsall gets his mouthpiece knocked out, but I like the concept. I like the idea here. Make it look like a screen. Go. You get him open. This is a pretty good ball in there. Then right here, you got the speed out here. I think they thought they were going to get him. You got the screen up top, so you got his eyes here. They thought they were going to be able to trap this and sit on the speed out and pick it. Richardson's thrown that thing before. You see the corner's got eyes, hoping he throws the speed out. Richardson does a good job hole shotting this thing. And you got a nice long touchdown there. So here's some stuff I kind of wish they would things, I don't think as much as I've, talked about, I don't think the passing game is poorly designed. I think it's pretty well designed. And you see here, if it's not well designed, then there's a lot of really good offenses and really good passing games that you'd say are not well designed, right? The plays aren't well designed. But I do think they could steal some stuff. I like this look right here. This is basically like a Y cross and a mesh mixed right here. So this is kind of looks like how Florida runs that Y cross where he's dragging across. He's the deep crosser and vertical, right? And they've also added in a mesh here. So you get kind of a pretty interesting look here. So you get the mesh. And then this is great if you're going to get single coverage, especially. Instead of sitting over the ball, he runs a deep crosser. So if you get single coverage, that's going to hit. I think this is also something the Chiefs did with Tyreek Hill. Good throw in that tight window right there. Then I think off these motions, if you're going to have these motions, you got to add screen stuff to it. I think Florida being a better screen team would really make the offense go. They don't have a tight end like this, but hey, maybe there's a Jaheim Bell type guy in the transfer portal. These are the things you would add for a guy like him. But off all those motions, you should be a good screen team. There's so many different ways to get to it, to the back, to tight ends, to receivers. Here's a boot, the Rams. But I think if you're going to be a heavy motion team like Florida is, you got to become a good screen team too. That'll take the offense to the next level. And maybe that's just something they didn't have time to put in this year and really get to the nitty gritty. This gets caught late, but faking like that wide zone first, and then releasing the backside tackle, right? Because the backside tackle could come down if zone's this way, and now he gets back out. Corner's off, throw it to the receiver down here. You got the tackle leading out on the corner. Good stuff. And so we're back to the top. So, I thought just, when I watch Florida's passing game, I see a lot of influences from other places. Really well-designed, good places. So I don't think the passing game is poorly designed. To me, it's well-designed. Stuff builds on one another. It's not revolutionary, but that doesn't mean it's not well-designed. So to me, that criticism falls flat a little bit. Is it always well executed? No. Could they be better in the quick game? I think they could be better in the quick game. I think that's a place where they need to see some improvement as well. You didn't see a ton of quick games. You saw stick, but they didn't run a ton of it. You saw some snag. They didn't run a ton of it. So they could be better in the quick game too. But I think the criticism that this passing game is poorly designed falls flat. And I think you see that with Florida getting high 4-star and 5-star quarterbacks committed. I think there's probably a little more to the passing game than some people want to admit.